Welcome back to Academy Lanes for the first half of the second string of this final match in the Women's Pro Series three-person tournament. Coming into this second string, the team of Norm Pelletier, and there is a strike by Norm Pelletier, and let's take another look at it right off the bat. Nice 1-3 pocket hit. Started to say Norm, along with his teammates Kim Pelletier and Joe Smith, are leading by 32 pins coming into this string over Jim Ayotte, Kristy, Lipke, and Bob Whitcomb. And that strike will extend the lead as Jim Ayotte is open with a 10 box in the first box of the second string. This is, as I say, it's the second string of the final match. The Ladies Pro Series always has a two-string final match. Norm Pelletier drops 8 on the first ball on the strike field. Has a 7-8 with a couple of pieces of wood out front at an angle. And he's not able to cover the 7-pin. He's going to put a 9 on the strike. So that adds another 9 pins. So it's now a 41 pin lead for Norm, Kim, and Joe. Jim Ayotte with the second straight 10 box. Jim Ayotte with a 9 drop in the third box. Similar to the strike hit that Norm had in the first box. The only difference being that Norm carried the 5 pin. Let's see if Jim can make it for a spare. He's got it. And that's pretty badly needed at this point to cut into that 41 pin lead. Norm Pelletier was looking at the 2, 4, and 6 difficult split. Just got the 2 pin, so he'll have an open box here, and that will be an 8 in the third. Jim Ayotte, a little disappointing there, just 4 on the spare. When you're trying to cut into a big lead, it's disappointing to not get much on the spare, but be that as it may, that's a 4 fill on the spare, and Jim will be trying to do something with that. And he hits the head pin, but just punches it straight back into the, also takes out the 9, so he's going to be open. Norm Pelletier looking at the Caleri on the left side, 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. Just gets the head pin and the 9. And Jim Ayotte with a 7 in the fourth box. He's got 41 through the fourth. Norm Pelletier also with 7. He has 44 through 4. So 1 box to go for each bowler before they take a seat and turn it over to the winner. Jim Ayotte misses a head pin again on the left side, but gets a nice break this time. He's got just the 8 pin and some wood out in front of it. And in all likelihood, he will sit on a spare. And he's got a 51 plus the fill ball through 5. Norm Pelletier trying to run down this 4 horseman. Goes by it on the right side, so he'll just be trying to pin his way out. Check as many as he can here. And that'll be an 8. Norm with 52. So they turn it over to Kristy Lipke on the right and Kim Pelletier on the left. Kristy and Kim, as I mentioned earlier, are both have been active in the Ladies Pro Series since the beginning, which is, I think, 3 years ago. 3 or 4 years. And that will be a 9 box for each bowler in the first box to open. Kristy Lipke, light hit on the right side of the head pin, drops 7. Kim Pelletier with a 5 drop. But let's look at the 2 leg kicks here. There's sort of the outward and to the right leg kick of Kristy Lipke. Meanwhile, Kim Pelletier, that's almost over her head. She's got excellent height on that leg kick. I think they go to the same yoga instructor. Kristy with a nice bid on that 279, but not quite able to get the 9. She'll have an open box in a second, and it'll be a 10. Kim Pelletier with 9 in the second. Another light hit by Kristy Lipke on the 1-3 side. This time she has just the 2 and 7. And again, some wood in front of the 2 at an angle. She might be able to use this to kick the 2 back into the 7. So we can do with that. And it goes. She went down a little bit low on that wood, but caught just enough of it to cover the 7 back in the corner. Spare in the third for Kristy. Kim Pelletier, meanwhile, with a 10 box. And as you can see, Pelletier, and Smith still lead by 32 pins. But that's minus the fill by Kristy, and also Jim Ayotte has the spare to fill in the 5th. So they're going to reduce the lead somewhat, and that's an 8 drop by Kristy. So that's going to cut it from 32 to 24 pins. Again, with Jim still having 1 hit. Another spare by Kristy. She converts that 2-pinner, 3-6. Kim Pelletier goes by the head pin. She'll still have the 1 and 10. And she just gets the head pin, so that'll be a 9 box. Heading into the 5th box for each bowler. Kristy misses the head pin left, leaves the high-low jack, the 1-7-10, with some wood that might, probably come into play one way or another. And if that goes, wow. She missed it entirely through the left, but we'll take a look at it in just a minute. We'll show you that she caught that. The ball actually went quite a distance by the head pin and caught the wood in front of the 7, but because there was a piece of wood at an angle behind the head pin, the ball caught that pin and snapped around and took out the head pin, and then went over and got the 10. And here's another look at it. She goes by the head pin, and the ball is well behind it, but it catches the wood. And she's very surprised to see that goes. But in any case, that's 3 spares in a row for Kristy Lipke, giving her 64 with a ball through the 5th. And that is going to significantly cut into the lead, as Joe Smith and Bob Whitcomb take the stage. Bob Whitcomb with a 9 drop to begin. He's looking at the 10 pin, while Joe Smith punches a spread eagle. Bob Whitcomb misses the 10 pin. That is very unlike Bob. Usually under pressure he is just like clockwork on those spares. He'll make the tough ones, and he'll be just about automatic on the routine spares like that. So that's not at all typical of Bob. But in any case, it's a 9 box for him and an 8 for Joe in the first. Bob on the head pin once again. He drops 7, leaving a 2-4-5 triangle. Joe Smith on the head pin again, and again a little bit too full. He drops 8, leaving the 4 and 6. And Bob misses another makeable spare. Bob Whitcomb, as I say, usually one of the most reliable bowlers around on those routine spares. And sure enough, it's always easier on the third ball. It's a 10 for each bowler in the second. And that looks like, I think that's a 2 drop. I think just the 2 and 4 went. But I'd still rather have that than the lead that Joe Smith has, 5, 6, 10. That is really one of the toughest of the common leaves in Candlepin bowling. It's really almost impossible to make. And there's a nice bid by Bob Whitcomb trying to come back on that 2 drop. But the 6, 9, 10 triangle still remain. That'll be an 8 for Bob Whitcomb and a 9 for Joe Smith. Through the third, they're tied at 27. Bob right back on the head pin. This time he leaves a big 5. 2, 4, 6, 7, 10. Piece of wood between the 6 and the 10, which could help him if he's able to kick the 2 pin over into that wood. Wouldn't have to cut it quite as thin. And that's probably what he was trying to do there, but he ended up going by the 2. So they're both going to be open in the 4th. Bob will probably try to just take out the 6-10, and he does that. And that's a nice 10 by Joe Smith, covering that 1, 7, and 9. So they've got one more box before they take a seat. Bob Whitcomb misses the head pin to the right, leaving the 4 horsemen left side. Thin hit on the 1-3 pot. Oh wow, that's a strike. They just collapsed like a house of cards. That a very, very thin hit in the 1-3 pocket by Joe Smith. But when it was all said and done, it's a strike on the board, and very timely. And Bob Whitcomb with a nice, that was just about a perfect shot right there, but for some reason the ball was deflected around the 4-7. That tends to happen sometimes when the height of the lane is a little bit higher over the pin deck than normal. It's closer to half an inch than a quarter of an inch. That's kind of a long story. In any case, it is a 17-pin lead, and we're going to be back with the rest of this match later in the weekend, and you do not want to miss it.